Hey guys, man. Whoops, did I do that?
I did that.
Oh, my phone's going on, or my I'm like a second behind because my second monitor started playing the song in my head, and I thought it started up again, the song. And we have an add-on for me, Mr. Whip.
Hey! I absolutely love that. I think all back filters should have that.
Instead of John.
There is a
if you guys aren't enjoying this, go over to John. I think he's like sponge filters. But no,
what's up?
Not much. I'm just going to introduce y'all right now. Well, we'll start off with our special guest tonight is Mr. Whip, and it's of Whip's World, and he has a new show on Friday mornings at 11 my time. Is that right?
Yep.
Awesome. So we all got to be there and support Whip because he's awesome and he's really cool. And then right here I have Rico, and he likes to eat barf and snarf things. Did I say that right?
Close enough. Close enough.
And we all know Rico. We all love Rico. And Skipper right there, he's the man who can do just about anything. So he's yep. What doesn't Skipper do?
Speak coherent sentences.
What he said.
Well, he's not here for communication. We like his strong back.
There we go.
I don't know about that these days.
Well, tonight we have a special show. We have Fish versus Fish. And I don't know if anybody looked at the thumbnail. Oh, I forgot to pop. I should have saved the thumbnail so I could pop it. But the thumbnail had two fish on there, and I wonder if people were thinking what they were. Well, what we're doing is this is going to be a very red week coming up on us because we have the Super Bowl with the champion Kansas City Chiefs versus the 49ers. They're both red and gold. Blue. They're both red and gold, so that's red. And we have Valentine's 2 days later. So I thought we would go with the top 10 red fish. And I need all your support, guys. We'll talk a little bit about the fish, but we can't spend much time because we got to crank through it really quick. But we're going to rate them between 1 and 10. And there's actually 11 fish on this list. The worst place fish gets kicked out and will never be talked of again on this channel.
Unless it's one of my favorites, and then I'll talk about it anyway.
Right. I already told them that one of them is my grail fish. And if my grail fish is on that list, I don't care. But you guys want to get right into it? Because we got 11 fish and about 57 minutes to get through them.
Do you want to say hi to people first?
My gosh. Should we say hi to people? We probably should say hi to people. Let's see who likes to talk about fish. Oh my gosh, there's a whole lot of people. Okay. Well, you want to go for it, Skipper?
Yeah, we'll go up the participants list. This
nice.
It's short and sweet. We got Big Steve's Glass
Steve.
Box Creations. Big Tank Hank. We got Carlos Diaz, Dennis Christensen, Jeff Kane, Jenny Lynn, Lady Rorschach, Liquid Zoo Only Fins, Oink Master Supreme. We got Yo Pauly. We got Red Laser, Richard Reynolds, Robert Reed, SC Cat House. Can't say Cat House. Got to do Cat House now. Let's see. It jumped. Sketty Nonia. Sonny.
That's me slurping up spaghetti.
Stephen White. We got Melvin. Tampa Tom, Vinoski, Whip's World, and Huawei.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys all for being here. And I see Killer Kitty, Anthony, Fishy Friends, and Matt and Boots Cats. Were they on that list?
They probably are now because they're slow. They ain't tight.
That's slow.
I think they participated maybe before the show started.
Probably.
Lady Rochelle too. Well, thank you all.
Rorschach.
But if you want
Right.
your mentioned again, which we would appreciate, what we'll do is Skipper is in charge of typing stop and go. And so when we're going to give everybody a chance to pick a number between 1 and 10 for what they rate particular fish. And these are all going to be red fish that you can get your significant other for either Super Bowl Sunday or Valentine's Day. So, we got to look at it in different ways. Like, would a dozen of these be better than a dozen roses? Probably yes for any of us fish nerds. But so, Rico, hit us with the first fish.
Ooh, I like hitting people with fish.
Smack.
Oh, okay. I don't know killifish very well. And we don't know if this is annual or if that's annual. The name of we don't know if that's the name of the fish. When I tried to come up with the name, that was the best I could do, was the annual. But we know that they only live a year. And if this is one of those killifish, it only live a year. Or what does annual mean? They come
1 year.
You're on the right track. Yeah. Keep going.
Okay. See, I won't buy annual flowers.
Yeah.
Because I hate how they just all croak. So.
Yeah. I mean,
but
sometimes in their defense, they don't live that long, but the time that they're there, they're just so amazingly beautiful that it makes it worth it.
And look at that fish.
It is a beautiful fish.
I get sad every time my fish die, but I guess these fish know they're going to die in a year.
Well,
so or 10 months, because they probably have to be an egg for 2. So, they probably don't get upset when they die after living only 9 or 10 months.
I don't know that. Anyways,
You get upset about it. I just feel like, oh, you could have lived a whole lot longer, but you didn't because your life sucks.
Yeah. Because your life sucks.
But
it is a beautiful fish, though, definitely, regardless of the name. And Scotty said he put in there what he thought it was. I already missed it, and it was a bunch of letters. So I think it had 4 consonants in a row. So I was done with it.
Well, I saw another version that had a bunch of. It started with a K. Did that one start with a K that he put in there?
I can't remember now. Where's it at? Scotty. Non. Yep. Don't know.
So,
I don't know where it's at. You see it?
There's people putting facts in there about the annual killifish. They actually don't die in a year in your aquarium. They can last up to 3 to 4 years. That's what they're saying.
I thought one of the advantages to them is you never have to do a water change.
Do the annuals live 3 or 4 years? I knew that the other killifish was common, but I thought the annuals were a couple of years usually. 3 or 4. I mean, you say Coro said they can live, but I mean, on average, it's only a couple of years, right? It's they're like guppies, basically, right?
And I totally believe what they're saying because, take a neon tetra. Neon tetras spawn like mad, billions of neon tetras every year when the Amazon overflows, but then it all dries up, and there's billions of them dead, and they basically help fertilize all that ground, and they provide food for all the different things. And they're just a little fish, but a neon tetra will live 8 years. It's one of the longest lived tetras you can have in your fish tank.
Yeah.
That little, I wouldn't think it, but it actually has a longer life expectancy than a cardinal tetra. So, it doesn't surprise me that a killie could probably live longer if it's treated well.
Yeah.
But okay, so let's go with the killies. I've never had one, but that is a freaking awesome fish. I'm going to give it a 7. I'm just going to start the ball rolling.
Nathan. Annual in the wild. Yeah, and I didn't think they were annual in the tank, but I didn't think they lived longer than a couple of years on average. I thought 2 years was a pretty good one for the annuals. But I don't know anything about them. That's just what I understood.
I heard feral cats like it only have a life expectancy of 3 years out in the wild, but in your house, they live forever. I heard.
They live way too long in the house. I mean, they live a long time in the house.
I think they die right after you do. That's what I'm planning with my 2 cats.
Yeah, okay. Because they'll eat you and pass away from the full stomach. They'll be bloated from eating all that Chattanooga Ed meat. And anyways, I also give it a 7.
Live a long time off me.
Depends on the fish. Yeah.
I'll start popping vitamins for them.
Annuals, or excuse me, killifish were on my short list. They still are, but I think I've sort of changed my focus a little bit, and I'm going to go towards more live bears. But killifish are definitely on my list. These are beautiful. I'm going to also give them a 7, regardless of how long they live. I think they're amazing fish. A lot of the killies are just amazing, and those are beautiful. So 7 is for me.
I'm going to give them a 5. I'm not into killifish.
Skip.
A lot of it has to do with my water. I had tried killies before, and they just didn't. Don't get me wrong, they are beautiful, but no, not for me. 5.
I'm sorry, I wanted to interrupt you real quick. You have a new person, Ed, ASAP Fishing, ASAP Fishing. They live in Dalton, Georgia. They said they're not too far from you.
Oh, no, not at all.
I just thought you'd like to meet the new person.
They have a Petco in Dalton that I actually like. Every time I go in there, they have like something cool to look at. So whenever I'm going through
but that's only because they have a lot of mirrors.
Something cool to look at.
Something cool to look at. You're looking at you, man. Don't look so confused.
Looking at you, baby.
Darn it, that's so nice. They really polished their glass up. I bought something for Larry D yesterday, and I want to ask him if he's ever tried this hot sauce, because if he hasn't, I'll send it to him. But if he has, I want to keep it for myself.
Keep it. Really cool. Larry's got plenty of hot sauce.
Yeah, he's got more.
Donna's here.
Hot sauce, he probably can't eat it all.
Hey, Aunt Donna. Yeah, but this is like it's the coolest hot sauce bottle I've ever seen in my life. So and I almost brought it in. Next week, remind me to bring Larry D's bottle in, and we'll ask him if he's here.
Okay.
And Whip, how do you feel about killies?
Well, she's pretty, but I would go probably a 4.
4.
Wow.
Okay.
But only because it's so short-lived, and I know whether it's 1 or 2 years, I stay away from stuff that dies anymore. So I don't have any interest in replacing fish unless, and I can't really get anything to breed because I keep too many fish together. So I don't know how they are in a community or how they breed in a community, but chances are I would not get more. So I'd be replacing them, and that does not appeal to me.
I don't know if it works necessarily with every type or how, but like I've watched a few things on how to breed killies in like by putting moss in even saucers of dirt, depending on like the type, into your tank. And you actually take that thing out of the tank. And I think you can dry them. I'm not for sure about all this killie stuff because I've never done it. But so maybe it's kind of like their essence just flows to the next baby. So it's not like they're ever dying. They're just flowers that get pretty and then they crumble and wither away and then they pop with new seeds. I don't know. I try to philosophize things to make it work. Hey, Skipper, let's hit this thing and get these people rolling. So how we do this is everybody pick a number between 1 and 10, and we're going to pick 2. Whoops. We got to pick 2 of the people. And what I do is darn it, where'd it go? I roll 2 dice on my phone, and then whatever it comes up will be the 2 people that go. And if it's the same number, like that, is 2 6s, we'll go 6 and 12. Does that work? Yeah. It definitely works because that's how we always do it.
Yeah.
So did we have any people say numbers?
Yeah. He hasn't. Oh, have you hit go?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
a long time ago.
I started,
Oh,
Jeez,
awesome.
I'm not seeing it.
it's because I started as soon as it popped up.
Yeah, like
Awesome.
8 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Well, then 6 and
Oh.
12.
Uh, 8 from Curl Kitty.
Oh,
And 6 from Nathan Havey.
Nathan.
Nathan.
Nathan went 6. So that's interesting. We had the highest rate from the crowd and then about an average. Okay, so let's see. 11, 18, 23, 31. It got a 37. All right. So now, if you want to play at home, you can write down that red killifish is a 37, or you can just wait till the end. So let's see our next red fish.
Sorry, hold on. This is unfortunate. This is unfortunate how I have to do this, but we'll get it. We'll get it. Hold on one second.
They used to say the name really cool.
Well, while you're doing that, we got a $5 super chat
Cherry
from
barb.
Curl Kitty.
Oh, well, thank you. Holly is my sister in Dungeons and Dragons. If you ever want to catch us playing Dungeons and Dragons, tune in to Chris Aquazone on Tuesdays, or you can even look on my channel when Chris has to be out of town on work. We do a version on my channel on Tuesday nights. But the cherry barb. All right, the cherry barb's a nice little nano guy. It doesn't get too big. Not a big jerk like its cousins, the tiger barbs. They add a lot of color to your tank. If you put them with neon tetras, you got blue and red swimming around all over. They're a pretty little fish. I'm going to score them, and they're a staple. You can pretty much find cherry barbs everywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give the cherry barb an 8 for being a nice red fish. All right. Whit, what say you? Whoop really likes the little fish.
Start
You
the
say
bottom.
whip or skip?
Whip. Oh, that
Whip or
does
skipper.
I do keep these. I do like
Oh, wow.
these. I would give these guys a solid 6, maybe 7. Let's go 7.
Ooh, that's pretty high marks for whip. Okay, Rico, what do you think of the tiger or the tiger barb, the cherry barb?
I'm gonna go right in the middle. I'm gonna give them a 5, and they just, I don't know why they just don't do it for me. Maybe it's just because they are, they do have shades of red, but they are just so uniform, and I don't know. They're not a bad fish, but they don't do anything for me. Right in the middle.
Okay.
I can't.
Well, that is totally fair. So, now we're at Skipper. Skipper, do you like cherry barbs?
Oh yeah, I actually love cherry barbs, especially the long fin ones. The reason I don't know, I like that torpedo look. They can swim pretty fast. You put them in with some like angelfish or whatever, they can get away if they try to go after them. I just like them. So I'm gonna give these ones a 9.
Wow.
And some of them, depending, I've had them where they were a darker red than this before.
Yeah, mine is. My male is much darker, and it's got like a black. Yeah, I'm pointing at the screen like you guys can see what I'm pointing at. Like, like that. The top third maybe is more almost not black, but it's not. It's like a dark maroon.
What a maroon.
I like it.
Okay, are you ready for the roll?
Yeah.
I think they are a very healthy looking fish.
Did you give us yours? You didn't give us yours yet.
Oh, I gave it an 8.
2 and 7.
Yep.
All right. So number 2 is Dennis Christensen with
Dennis.
7.
A 7 for Dennis. Dennis is a super cool guy. He hung out with my girlfriend all day on Sunday.
And
When I say it like that, it sounds like I wish I was Dennis.
He's a super good guy.
He's a super cool guy.
and Big Steve came up with number 5.
Steve with a 5. And that gets a big 41. No, they were at their club's fish auction, which I wish I could have went to because that'd be fun too. Regardless if Dennis was there or not. Or Oinky. I'm just teasing. I better shut up before I get punched in the face. Okay.
Good idea.
Let's go to the next fish. Oh, the Savron Shiner. Saffron.
Saffron.
Saffron. Now, this guy is one of our natives, and for a Super Bowl fish, you don't know which guy or which team they're cheering for. Because look at that. They got gold and red. So, in a football aspect, man, they are hammering it down for those two teams.
Now, where are these native to? What part of the United States are they native to?
Okay, I want to collect these someday, but they're mostly here in Tennessee, where it's against the law to collect fish. They do that mainly for the darters, because we've got a large amount of different types of darters throughout the mountains, and they haven't gone extinct here, or been, eradicated. So, but still, never. And we also have pygmy panfish or pygmy sunfish that everybody loves that they had to do the law for. So they just blanket it for all fish. So I looked to see if I could go to Alabama or Georgia, because those are my normally go-tos. They aren't in Alabama or Georgia, even though they're literally a mile from my house, half a mile from my house. They just don't go over the border for some reason. And they go almost all the way up to my backup is Kentucky. Can't catch them they're not in Kentucky, but they are in the Carolinas and Virginia. So if anybody out there goes native fishing in the Carolinas or Virginia, please let me know, because I would love to go collect these guys someday.
Or at least say he did, and then collect them right there in Tennessee.
Yeah. I got these from Virginia. What are you talking about?
Or if anybody ever sees them for sale on the websites or anywhere, please let me know, because people they're a very popular fish among native fish keepers. So
do you check out the Jonah's website?
Yeah, he mentions them, but he doesn't have them for sale right now.
No.
What size? How big do these normally get? Do you know?
About 2 inches, max size. They grow out to 2 inches. They're about 1.5 inches, and then they'll get as big as 2 inches. We do have them at the Tennessee Aquarium. Now, what you're looking at are the boys. The girls are silver.
Ugly.
They're a normal minnow. This is a minnow. And what happens is they're only this color for about 4 months of the year when they're spawning. But it's just like the rainbow shiners and the other shiners. They're really, my light's going out. They just really pop when they're going. That is so weird. Why is my light going out? It's like it's burning out. Okay. So I am going to give these a 10.
Whoa.
Well, I really want them bad. And they're really a chiefy looking. They look like the Chiefs. Okay. Well, Skipper, I don't think we've got to have you go for our second. What would you like to give these guys?
I have kept shiners before, and I would love to do it again. And I would like to get these. The colors are just crazy on them. I think they're really bright fish. I would like to get these also, so I'm going to go with 10 also. I think it's a beautiful looking fish.
Skipper, freaking awesome.
It's because
I didn't think minnows would do so well.
Yeah, I like minnows.
And you can always eat a minnow. or use it as bait,
True.
which is legal. I can catch these in Tennessee as long as I say I'm using them for bait.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
So if I caught them, I could put them in my fish tank and go fishing once a year and take 3 out, like the 3 sick, or freeze them as they die and then put them on the dead ones on a hook for catfish or something. I don't know. I'd have to make sure that's legal. But so, Rico, what do you think of these little guys?
And is this a really representative of what they really look like? I mean, these aren't. You said they're the males, and this isn't like. I don't know. I feel like they're just extra bright. Is that pretty common?
I did a search on them real quick to see if they're in sale, and all the images and stuff I found, this is it.
They're all like that. Yeah, yeah. I'm going to give them a 10 as well because they're natives, and I just wish that a lot of us would keep natives more often. I mean, we've got a lot of people in our community that do, right? But I don't have a lot of natives. Really, all I got right now is a bluegill, really.
Cold water fish. You don't have to put a heater in it.
Did you want to say something about that still popped up?
I was just trying to cover Whip's face.
What's it worth to you, Ed?
He was saying he could get them since, being in the Carolinas.
I would love to go out and do it, like a day trip.
Yeah.
But I'm going on here trying to figure out where he lives. Let me show you the photo of. I don't think they're in Paul's neck of the woods because they're like on the borders of Tennessee. Here it is. This is where we're at. That's the living areas. So it's kind of crazy. It's mostly all Tennessee, and then it just touches those other couple of states.
Yeah. Yeah, so I 10 on
really
those.
Fun.
I think I'd like to have them as well.
So what'd you give it?
A 10.
Holy cow, Rico. I didn't think you would give it a 10.
Why?
Because they're a minnow, and you're like, oh, they're not very cool. They're minnows. But the girls are just solid silver.
I had ruby fathead minnows. I like to keep those type of fish, and those are beautiful. I'm not a big fan of red fish in general, but those are pretty good. Those are nice. So far, out of all the ones I've seen, those are my favorites.
Awesome. Okay, Whip, are you going to destroy it, or are you going to keep rolling?
Oh, I'm definitely going to drop the average.
This could be the last time Whip is on the show.
They are very pretty for 4 months out of the year. And they do live 4 to 5 years according to this, but not usually over 3. Let me see if I said that right. They can live 4 to 5 years, but usually not more than 3. So that they're not super short-lived, but they're not long-lived either. But they are going to go back to for 8 months out of the year. They're going to be more of a silver, so I would give them a 6.
Okay.
If they stayed that color right there. See, there I go pointing again. If they stayed that color all the time, it would definitely be a higher number because they are pretty sharp looking.
I think the boys keep the yellow on their fins, which isn't very impressive on that picture, and I think they may keep the yellow or the red in their face, but I'm not for sure. I can't remember what they.
That's why I was asking, because I didn't know if they kept the color. I'm gonna have to drop my number because that's why I was asking if they stayed like that, if that was a normal representative color of them, then a 10. But if they do just get silver, I still like them a lot, but I'm not gonna drop it a lot. But I'm gonna drop it to an 8. Sorry, you have to change it. Make it work.
I'm guessing
in
spring and fall that they're those colors. And maybe if they have a more consistent water temperature, they might stay the colors even longer. I think they flex for breeding seasons. But if the water's always the same, I think the breeding season may be year-round too. But I don't know for sure, so I'm not going to say that. We'll have to ask somebody that does rainbow shiners and see how many months of the year rainbows are just beautiful too. So, okay. So we're going to drop Rico to an 8. That's fair. So we've got 34 right now. And let's roll the. Where'd my phone go? Oh, there it is. Holy cow, we spent a lot of time on that. We've got a lot of fish to go through.
How many did you say? 10?
11.
11.
So
Oh yeah, we got to pick it up.
Yeah. Hopefully, okay. 5 and 7.
Sketty Nona with an 8.
And 8, nice.
And Freaky Fish Lady with an 8.
Oh, wow. That is the new leader with a 50. Thank you, Freaky. And thank you, Spaghetti. Okay. And move to the red betta. Everybody knows all about bettas. That kind of looks like a rose, so it might be nice to buy your girlfriend, but it may be a bad idea to buy them a dozen of those. Just saying.
Just say it.
I am going to give the betta a 6. Oh my gosh. I put those two in out of order. Okay. I am going to give the betta a 6. And everybody knows about bettas. We don't have to get into depth with them. What do you say, Rico?
3. I'm not a fan.
Ooh. Okay.
I'm not a fan.
Skipper?
I'm going to see, I am a fan of bettas, but the only problem with them is so a lot of times you got to keep them in their own tank because if they get attitudes, you got to pull them out of a community fish tank because they will take care of, killing stuff. I'm going to go with a 6.
Okay. And Mr. Whip.
20 years ago, I would have given them an 8. Now they live 2 years if you're lucky. They are very pretty. I'll go with a 4.
Ooh. Okay. Let's roll this thing. We got 4 and 6, which is a lot of the numbers that we just gave it.
Excuse me.
So the betta's not doing well. The crowd needs to give them some love, or they're
Heather
toast.
Green with a 1.
Oh,
Ouch!
bettas may not be allowed to ever be in Fish versus Fish.
I'm okay with that.
You said 4 and 6, right?
4 and 6.
Dennis
Yes.
Christensen with a 5.
Wow, Dennis is getting his talk on tonight. 25 for
Getting his
the
what?
red.
Yeah.
His talk on. He's
Oh,
talking a
talk.
lot.
Talk with a T.
Jesus.
Sorry.
That is not what I heard.
Okay. Well, let's move to our next fish. Oh, the red discus. Everybody loves discus. They're basically fish chickens. They
Fish
watch
chicken.
TV. Yep. They live better than they did. Like bettas used to die, or bettas lived for like 5 years in the 80s, and now their life expectancy is like this. Discus are kind of the opposite. They were hard to keep alive back then, but now they're a lot easier. I'm gonna give this discus a 6. Okay, Whip. And I've had discus, so I just don't want to have any more.
Does it have to be this particular discus or a red discus in general?
Well, I picked this red discus because the yellow kind of looked like 49ers
Okay.
and Chiefs colors. But
With this particular discus, I would give it I'll give it a 5.
okay.
I like that. Whatever the
I like the
model,
snake
kind
skin
of
ones.
the weird stripy kind of. I like
Yeah,
those. That would be a much higher number.
Snake skin are my favorite personally too. Okay. Rico.
I'm going to go with a 5 as well. I don't think, as far as discus go, I don't think this is a great example. I think there's just so many more beautiful ones. So it's still a beautiful fish, but I'm going to go right in the middle.
Oinky
And I've never had discus.
Yeah, well,
Either.
they're kind of tough, But Oinky, she found a really bright red one, but it just, I don't know. It almost looked like it may have been faked. It was so red. You know, normally the solid ones seem more tomato color to me than rose color. So, but I mean, I do appreciate all of her help. But that's why I went with the tomato one, because I've seen these guys in the wild, or not in the wild. Never seen them in the wild at the stores. Okay, Skipper.
I'm gonna go to the 7. I would love to try these at some point, but stuff I have in my head to do what I want to do, they just don't fit in.
Okay. And for our numbers, we have 10 and 3. 10 and 3.
Red laser with, or wait, no.
Hey, I just want to say hi to Red Laser. He said hi to me in Foxy Fish's channel. Oh, I also want to apologize to Jimmy P. I was doing my homework for this tonight while I was watching her show, and I wanted to say happy birthday, and I had it playing on my phone, and I couldn't hear anything because my phone went so loud, but I also was trying to broadcast, so I talked over everybody, couldn't hear what I was even saying. I apologize, but happy birthday, Dee Dee. Sorry, Jimmy P. And hi to Red Laser, because he said hi to me, but I was watching on TV, so I couldn't say back. Okay.
He had number 8.
An 8 for Red Laser. And he's from Canada, and they like the color
Stephen
red.
White with an 8.
Stephen White with an 8. And it's surprising with a guy with the last name White would vote good for a red color. Just saying. Okay, scored a 39. Now let's see what the super red bristle nose. I'm gonna go real quick with the super reds. I know that people absolutely love them. I tried to look for the most red bristle nose because a lot of them are kind of orange. I'm gonna give it a 5 because I'm not a Pleco guy.
Shenanigans.
I know. But I do have a bristle nose, but it's a solid brown one, and it looks like Cthulhu, so I love it. All right, Whip, what do you think of the super red bristle nose?
I knew you'd go with me first. I don't know. I have like 5 or 6 bristle nose. Most of them are albino. A couple of them are long fin. One's a chocolate. They're cool and all, but I never see them. Never had a red. I don't know if they stay very red or not. I'll give it a 6.
Okay, Mr. Rico.
I'm going to give it an 8. I love them. I have not kept the super reds, but I've seen so many just beautiful ones. I do like Plecos quite a bit. 8.
I do like that bristlenose don't get gigantic. You know,
although they do get bigger than I thought.
They get up to 5 inches.
Yeah, mine's about 5. I mean, I would have guessed 5 to 6, but maybe just 5. But he just looks like a monster when he comes by the glass. But like I like what Whip said, I only see him like once every 3 months.
Well,
trying to make them more Cthulhu-y.
Yeah, mine are out all the time. I have a couple of albinos from James, and they're out all the time.
So I'm going to give them a 10.
Whoa,
nice.
I've kept these. Sometimes there is a downfall with them. They get a calico mixed in with them, but you got to breed that out. I love them. 10.
Nice. And let's see who we get on the roll. No, we got a 6 and a 9.
All right. Richard Reynolds.
Well, right now we're
Richard Reynolds with a 5.
Whoa, he's not a big fan of these guys, I guess. And Richard, he's like a fish master.
And Wallway with 10.
Wallway, 44.
Huawei.
44.
Well, he had 3 10s, so I just picked 1 10.
That's cool. That's awesome. What? Holy no! Oh, I was about to say that just took first place. Okay, but it didn't. But you know what? Before we do this,
Oh,
we have yes, we have an important PSA to talk about, and it's from Jeff Kane, and he wants to let everybody know not to pet warthogs. Bad things will happen when you pet a warthog.
Smart humans pet cats. Average humans pet dogs. Stupid humans pet warthogs. Don't be a stupid human.
I wonder if we can pet him. Hi, boy.
Can we touch him? No, don't.
Help me!
So please don't pet warthogs.
I love the. That was beautiful.
Oh my god, that was too funny.
If you would like to sponsor a PSA, I'm allowing all the people that are members of my channel, all they have to do is say they want to sponsor one, and it's officially sponsored by you. And I do want to give one thing, though, is if we ever get a really good redneck one, Skipper wants to PSA that one. So, and I was thinking, warthogs are African safari animals, so that's not really rednecky enough for you. So, we'll get something though eventually for you, Skipper, because I live in the South. Okay. The red jewel cichlid. These guys are really pretty. I believe they get to about 4 inches, maybe 5, but they're one of the smaller fish. They're really pretty. James caught one when we were down in Florida. We were trying to catch Gambusia and other natives, and he pulled out one of these guys.
And they're not native, though. They're not native to that area.
Right. So it's invasive. So in Florida, if you catch an invasive fish, you are not allowed to put it back into the water. Well, we brought it back thinking that Father Fish, because we thought we were giving it to his shop. And he says, so who wants to have this guy? And it's like, I don't do cichlids. And James is like, I don't have any cichlid tanks either. And Kenny E, he just traveled too far to take it with him. So he threw it in his red-tailed catfish pond. And it was crazy. I've never seen somebody feed that pretty of a fish to a catfish. I mean, you can't even see me, but it's like bigger, this giant. It was awesome, but kind of sad for the fish, I guess. But oh well, such is life. That's just a fun story.
Not for that fish.
Yeah. Well, hey, it was a happy red tail.
Right.
I'm not putting red tails on here, but since their tail is red and nothing else, I left them off. So the jewel cichlid, I am going to give this guy a 5 because I think they're pretty, but I don't know if I'll keep them because I'm not a cichlid dude. Okay, we've got about 15 minutes to get through the last 5. So what say you, Rico?
I don't know enough about this fish. It is a beautiful fish, but I don't know. Is it an asshole? I mean, is it a jerk?
I think so.
Is it?
Oh, it's not. We got one guy saying yes, one saying no.
I was told they are not.
I've never kept any cichlids other than, any of these type of cichlids. I've kept, angels and crebensis and stuff like that, but nothing like this. I don't know enough about it. It's a beautiful fish. Let's just go with a 6. We'll go with the 6.
Okay.
Again, I don't know enough about it to make an educated, guess even.
They're affordable, so that's at least good. So if they do start killing each other, they're cheap and you can get them. And I think they breed like crazy too. So.
And you know how cheap I am, so that maybe, yeah. All right.
And they're great food for your red-tailed catfish, Rico.
You got that.
Okay. What do you say, Skipper?
Oh, I'm going 4. I never personally kept these myself for one reason. They do breed a lot, and if you're going to have to keep them in their own tank. A buddy of mine had them at his house, And he said, "Hey, look at these fish. I said, what else you putting in there with them? Because every time I put something in there, they tear them apart."
They sound like convicts, just red.
That's what Big Steve just said.
Oh,
So-
okay.
What did I say? 4? Yeah, go 4. I'm not a fan of these.
Okay. I just put a 4 in Whip spot. Sorry, Whip.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it might be a fire. Okay, Whip, what do you say?
I'll give it a 9. Because unlike Skipper's buddy, my buddy has 2 of them in his community tank, and they're fine. And they are by far and away the most beautiful fish in his cichlid tank. So,
Oh, they're
so
beautiful.
far, he's had them for about 6-8 months, and they're. Now I know cichlid brains, the switch can happen anytime, but so far so good.
Well, I would rather have these than say the peacock ones. I think these are prettier than the peacocks.
Yeah, and they don't get as big. Those peacocks, some of them, not all of them, but most of them get pretty big.
Now, is this an African or a
It
South
is.
American?
No, this particular one is an African.
Okay. I was hoping that maybe there's a really pretty South American. Okay. So what do we got? Well, I totally
Sophia
messed that name up.
Varaga. Never mind.
Okay. Oh, wow. The quick people, 1 and 3.
Oink Master with a 6, and Benjamin Peters with a 5.
Okay, so they just scored a 36. Right now, they're the second lowest. The Red Moscow Guppy. Red Moscow Guppy. Okay. The Red Moscow Guppy is a beautiful guppy. They do eat their fry like crazy. Well, when I've had them. But boy, it doesn't take much of any like illness at all, and they're wiped out. I found that with Moscows, they're a lot more fragile guppy than other guppies. So I love Moscows, but since I'm not competing in fish competitions, I don't have any Moscows at all anymore. So I am going to say for guppy reasoning, they're beautiful, but I'm only giving them a 6. And if they were a stronger fish or as strong as other types of guppies, I would give them a 10. But they just die. They're so fragile. They're like flowers that just wither if any little bit gets on them. So yeah, a 6. Okay, Whip, you're a guppy guy.
I am a guppy guy. I hate them. I'll give it a 1, and I will feed it to my big fish.
Oh,
You're a guppy guy.
okay, Skipper.
This particular guppy, I do like guppies. It's just the red one, I don't really like them. It's too plain to me. 4.
Ooh. Okay, and Mr. Rico.
I'll give it a 5, right in the middle. Again, it is a beautiful fish, but it's not even my top 5 favorite of the Moscows. And there's so many other guppies that I like better than this one. So right in the middle, 5.
Okay, someday we're going to have to go through the Moscow. If this one gets the lowest score, we might bring it back just to see what the Moscows, because I want to hear what his top 6 Moscows are. Because I have this is 4th on my list of Moscows, to be honest. And I mean, they're a beautiful fish. I love them a lot but okay, so let's roll the dice. And if I was competing in IFGA, I would have them in a heartbeat. 10 and 7, so we went high this time.
Dennis Christensen again with an 8.
Dennis knows things.
And he hangs out with your girlfriend all day.
Yeah.
And your girlfriend said you're wrong. It's a 10.
Oh,
Pointy.
okay. So that brought him up to a 35, so we can talk Moscows. Good job, Oinky and Dennis, because you saved my guppy line. Oh, the Tennessee Shiner. Okay, this is another Shiner that I really want. They stay red a lot longer than other. I've actually never seen the boys turn silver. Once they get to mature age, they kind of go from orange to bright red. So I think the boys they don't ever go back to silver, which is kind of nice for these. They're not as pretty as the saffron. Is there saffron?
Saffron.
Yeah. Yeah.
Saffron. But they're neat. And I can get these in Alabama and Georgia. So even though they're Tennessee, so that's one of these days I'm going to get my fishing license in one of those states and bring home a mess of these guys.
I wish
So
Kenny. I'm sorry. Go
give
ahead.
this an 8. I'm going to give them an 8.
I wish Kenny ABC was here because I feel like he has collected these in Alabama or in Georgia.
Oh,
I think
did.
I can't remember. He was down in that area though doing collecting.
They're smaller than this photo. You know, they're only about 2 inches, and they zip around. And when they're zipping around, it's hard to see them even. Like, they look prettier when they're moving. It's still like this. It kind of looks like a fish in a tuna can, but or not a tuna in a sardine can. But they're really a neat darting fish. I've got a neat short on them, but yeah. Okay, so I give them a nice 8. Okay, Whip, what do you think of our Tennessee Shiner?
I like it. I don't know how long it lives. I tried to do a quick search on it, but I can't find it.
It's virtually the same as the other, probably about 2
So
to 3 years.
if they live 4 years or so, I'd give it a 7.
Maybe we could collect them someday when you move here.
Hey, all right.
Yeah.
My
Rico?
my Arowana will appreciate it.
I'm gonna give him a. I'm gonna give him a. I'm gonna give him a 7 as well. Again, I think they're beautiful. I really want to do more native fish myself, even though it's a different part of the country. Still, beautiful little fish. 7.
Okay, Skipper.
I'll give it an 8. It's a native fish. It's a good looking one. I will give
It
it.
reminds me of the barb, the cherry barb, a little bit.
Yeah, it really does. A little less torpedo body.
Yeah.
They both basically are very the same. This one swims a little farther, like it darts quicker. Cherry barbs are kind of like shoop, shoop, shoop in circles, but this one like zip, 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 like that. They're like long zips. Okay, so now there's a chance this could be tied for the number 1 fish if the crowd picks it right. Let me know when you
Depends on what you roll. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Okay, we got a 1 and a 7.
Number 1 is Curl Kitty with a 6.
Well, she just blew it.
Wait.
Dr. A.
Did you say 6?
7, right?
No, a 1 and a
1 and 7.
7.
Oh boy, thank God it's a 7 because it got a 7. Big Steve, because if you'd have said 6, it would have went to a 1.
Whoa.
So 7 from Big Steve.
Okay, that brings that up to a 43, which is still 3rd place for red fish. That's pretty amazing. So, Skipper, I think you'd be safe to buy 12 of those for your wife, and she'd probably be happy. Okay, the vampire swordtail. Now, these guys, I've only seen them twice at fish stores. They're a big swordtail. And they're double. They're like they're even, this one, the ones I saw were more lyre tail. This one almost has like a 3rd or spike. But the ones I've seen have like a lyre tail instead of a sword tail. But it's still a sword tail body. Dr. Anthony, he's so awesome. So, I'm gonna give this fish. I have always loved swordtails. I don't know if I like the vampire ones, but their name brings the score up to an 8 because I think it'd be cool to have vampire fish. Okay, Whip.
I will give them a. I don't know what do I want to give them. I'll go with a. I guess I'll go with an 8. I do like them. Can't keep them. Everybody says swordfish are easy, and they die in about 15 minutes in my waters. But I do like them. So 8.
Maybe when you move to Tennessee, your water will be different.
Yeah, hopefully better, not worse.
Okay, Rico.
I'm going to go with an 8 as well. The fact that they do get a little bit, or not, the fact that they're good sized, they're very distinct like that. Even though it is just a solid color, I like them, and I do want to get swordtails in the near future. So maybe some of those. I'll go with an 8.
Quit copying me.
I'm going
Well, you
5.
copied me.
I'm going 5. I don't really like this
5.
one.
Not a fan.
Not this one. I love
It's
swordtails.
a vampire.
What is it that you don't like?
That I don't
The
know.
tail shape?
No, the tail. It's the color. I don't know. It's just something about that color. It's just not appealing to me. It's just too solid. I like the swordtails that have the other colors. You know, that's me.
Yeah, I get you.
Looks like this one was dipped.
Look at there. We got. Oh, it changed while I was moving it. We got 1 and 8. It was a 10, but somehow I must have shook it.
Well, Stephen White gave it a 9.
Oh, Steven. Steven must like red fish.
And Curl
For that one.
Curl Kitty with an 8.
Wow. Okay, so that's. Wow. Did that got a 46. That got pretty good scores. That just jumped into second place with all of us giving it 8s, except for Skip. Wow. Okay. Oh, I put that under another monster's name. I put the vampire under the Red Devil name. And I own a Red Devil, and he was super sweet and nice for like 2 years, and then he started to destroy everybody and pull their eyes out of their heads, and now he lives in solitary. He's lived in a terracotta pot for about 4 months now. I know that he comes out of the tank because he's destroyed all the plants that were in that tank. I had a Anubias growing in that tank, and he tore all the leaves off the Anubias. He took all the sand and from one side of the tank and pushed it all on the one side, that when I first walk into the room, there's like a wall of sand that I see when I walk in. So I know he leaves the terracotta pot. I liked him when he was nice, but now he's a jerk face. And I was just talking to Josh from Metalheads, trying to figure out how I can get him to Josh. So, yep, I'm going to give the Red Devil a 4.
See you later,
Okay,
Larry.
Whip. Oh, bye, Larry.
Everybody, well, most people know cichlids are my jam. But of the cichlids, this guy is probably one of my least favorite. I'll give him a 5 just because he's pretty, but I don't know. They're not as cool looking as some of the other ones, so I'll give him a 5.
The Tennessee Aquarium has like probably a 10,000 gallon tank filled with red devils. And it is so cool because there's probably 500 red devils in there. And then if you counted their fry, thousands, because there's always like a mom and a dad in a bunch of fry. And that's why they have this tank, so kids can walk by and see the parents keeping the fish alive. It's really neat. But yeah, still jerkfish. Okay, Rico, what do you think of this guy?
I don't know. So he's a pretty big jerk for most people, right? Most people agree that this is not a very community-minded fish, right?
Devil is very
Devil.
accurate. Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 3. Play nice.
Yeah, I get it. Well, I gave it a 4, which is maybe the lowest score I've ever given any fish on these fish things because I really like all fish. Okay, Skipper.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 4 also. I'm not a fan of that cichlid.
So right now we may never talk about the Red Devil. Let's see if the fans, or not the fans, but the fish fam can pull this out for
I'm
the
going to go
Red
with
Devil.
a no because it's looking bleak.
Don't ever ask them to pull it out. Just don't. It's not something you should ask this community. You're going to get all kinds of wrong answers.
No matter what I do, the numbers are upside down. But it's a 7 and a 5.
Red Laser with a 3.
Oh, and Red Laser. Wow.
Stephen
19,
White with a 5.
a 5, giving it a total of 24, which is the lowest fish of all time.
Wow.
Well, maybe not of all time, but on our score, we had the betta got a 25, and that got a 24.
I would like to raise my score to 7.
2-8.
Which fish?
It's already added up. Come on.
It's
now.
added up. It's in the books.
It's in the
I'm trying to
book.
find the. Wick gave the betta a 6, and the Red Devil a 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then it goes 35 for the red for the Red Moscow, 36 for the Jewel, 37 for the Killifish, 39 for the Red Discus, 41 for the Cherry Barb, Tennessee Shiner got 4th place with a 43. The Super Red Bristlenose came in 2nd place with a 44. Oh no, that's the 3rd place one. For the 44. The Vampire Swordtail got a 46, but still couldn't get the number 1 spot of that Saffron Shiner. Got a 50. So thank you guys for picking the best fish because that's my favorite fish too. You all rock.
Rigged. We don't see the numbers. He could just be making up these numbers. He could we don't know.
I know, but I'm not because it's all right here.
Besides, you would never do that.
Well, I'm not going to say my math is always right though. But nevertheless, we are over. We're 3 minutes over. Everybody, one of these days we got to figure out how to direct people directly to Skipper's show. But Skipper has a fantastic show called The Nocturnal Feeding. And we'd love to invite everybody to go over there and hang out with us. Thank you, mods. You guys were amazing because I didn't hear anybody getting upset. And thank you, Rico, Skipper, and Whip for being awesome co-hosts and fish experts with me tonight. And thank you for the super chats and members. You guys rock. And remember, Jeff doesn't want you to pet warthogs.